So back in the day, during the Four Horsemen and the IDW, there was kind of a revolution going on. Whereas these days with atheism, mostly what you get is news stories from around the world. There might be revolutions happening outside of Canada, like women in Iran and all that stuff. There, things are pretty exciting without making it seem like it's a good thing. But there's a real revolution going on over there. That kind of all faded in North America, especially, so we don't get the same um, kind of feeling of excitement with atheism anymore, which is fine. The revolution can't last forever because then it turns into something really weird. But there were a lot of memes going around back then, and one of the criticisms of atheism, which came from a kind of ignorant place, was basically why do atheists talk about religion so much? For some, they couldn't understand why if religion was such a bad thing, why are atheists obsessed with it, right? Why are they obsessed with God? Like why are atheists always talking about it? And the answer is, well, it's because you have to talk about the bad things if you want to solve the bad things, if you want to cure the bad things. And an analogy that came out of those very memes was basically if you speak to an oncologist about why he talks about cancer, the answer is the same. You have to talk about the things you want to solve. There's no way around it, right? So I'm gonna transpose that to antinatalism because I think it's the same thing going on with antinatalism. If you want to talk or solve or get rid of suffering, you have to talk about suffering. Now, one problem that kind of pops up when you talk about suffering is, and especially if you're talking about it a lot, is it kind of gives you, people get the impression that you're depressed or that there's something not working right, or there's some sort of mental health issue going on. And to be fair, some antinatalists do come across as kind of depressed and gloomy and kind of like, kind of really sad. And that's fine. You're allowed to feel whatever you want to feel. It's freedom of expression. You can do whatever you want. But I feel like that doesn't capture all of antinatalism because antinatalism is actually a well thought out, structured, rational, logical system of thought. And we just have to address suffering because it's how we get to the point of curing it or stopping it. We have to talk about it, but it's not to say that we're pessimist in the conventional meaning of the word. In philosophy, pessimism means something else. It doesn't mean like, oh, woe is me. Like it doesn't mean that. So I want to bring up one point in this video, and I'm gonna try to bring up other points in other videos, but just one point today. I'm gonna bring up the point where people say that antinatalism is genocide. So the first simple answer is it's not genocide because number one, nobody's being killed. Antinatalism does not require that anyone be killed or moved from one region to the next or have their cultural background erased or anything like that. It's not asking for any of that. So people tend to think it's genocide if you drill down a little bit more. People tend to think it's genocide because once people die, you're not replacing those people. But not giving birth to people is not killing people. It's not people. There's no, like, I mean, if that were the case, that not giving birth to people is killing people, then we're all guilty of murder, right? Because we could all be pumping them out, but we don't, right? A lot of us don't ever. Some of us do some of the time, right? We pump them out sometimes, maybe twice. That's it, right? So we'd all be guilty of murder or genocide or however you want to fit that into your genocide thing. But it's not. That's ridiculous and it's kind of absurd. So the point is, when people die, they do so natural. Well, not always naturally, but I mean, there's 61 million people that die every year, and that's not genocide because they die naturally, right? So no, you didn't kill them, and you're not giving birth to anyone, so you're not killing them. So there's no genocide happening, right? And as an aside, there's 71 million abortions that happen on the planet every year as well. Could that be genocide? I mean, I mean, considering that you're saying that not giving birth to people is genocide, what about murdering 71 million fetuses or feti, or I don't know what the plural is, but like, what about murdering those people, right? Is that genocide? 71 million? I mean, you know, hard to say, hard to say. But that's where I want to leave you with this video. I don't know if that will convince people that it's not genocide, but that's my take on it. Okay, bye.